It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Astros wrapping up a 4-game series. It's also their last meeting of the regular season. For the Astros, they've beaten the Dodgers 4 out of 6, and they've won 2 of the 3 of the current series, so the Dodgers battling to get a split. And today it'll be Hiroki Kuroda with a record of 3-5 against the veteran Russ Ortiz with a record of 3-4. We haven't seen Ortiz for a while. He had Tommy John surgery, so throw out 07, but he's a very knowledgeable pitcher and a local boy who was born here in Encino. Coming up, well, it'll be the All-Star game with the camera held by Kamari Hudson, the 7-year-old daughter of Orlando, right after this. Game 4 of the series between the Dodgers and the Astros. Well, maybe like you, I've always wondered what it would be like to look at the world through the eyes of a child. How about the All-Star game? And how about young Kamari Hudson with a camera and her video diary of this year's All-Star game that included her daddy?
This is Kamari Hudson reporting live from the Home Run Derby. So how does it feel to be an All-Star game?
Feels good. I get to be with your daddy, O-Dog, hang out with him all weekend.
How does it feel to be an All-Star?
It actually feels great.
It's very special to be here as an All-Star, sharing it with your daddy and all the other guys that have been able to represent their ball clubs.
For me, it's even more special because I'm from St. Louis, so I'm having a blast right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are so very welcome.
My name is Kamari.
Nice
to meet you. My name is Albert Pujols. I play first base with the San Luis Cardinals.
I love your fingernails.
Thank you.
You need to be able to ask me questions while you're getting compliments. Your hair is beautiful, too.
Thank you. Who taught you how to play baseball?
I learned from my dad when I was little. He used to take me to the field all the time.
When I was 4 years old, I was in the Dominican Republic. I always follow my dad around, and he takes me to every park.
Who taught you how to play baseball?
My dad, and also I watched a lot of TV growing up.
He is a very good batter.
Yeah. How do you feel to be out on this field? Hanging out with all the best players in the world.
Yes, including my daddy.
Nobody's better than O-Dog.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is my little bit of playing baseball with some new friends that he made. This is Kamari. I love you all.
Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by the Teriyaki $6 Burger with grilled pineapple back at Carl's Jr. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Mad Dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun, and so do the Astros and the Dodgers here at Dodger Stadium. The final game of the 4-game series. Ironically, with all the heat, today is L.A. Kings Day at Dodger Stadium. Kings defenseman Matt Green threw out the ceremonial first pitch to his teammate Jarrett Stoll. The ice would have melted for the Kings today, but we'll be forgetting about the weather in a moment as the Dodgers and Astros conclude a 4-game series. The Astros have won 2 of the previous 3, and this will be their final meeting of the year. For the visiting Astros, who are break-even on the road, Michael Bourne leads off in center field. Jeff Keppinger's been playing third base, but today he plays second. Matsui sits down. Miguel Tejada at short. Carlos Lee in left. Jeff Blum, who's been busy in and out of the lineup, will start at third base today. Hunter Pence remains solid in right field. Ivan Rodriguez, who went 4 for 5 Friday night, then appeared as a pinch hitter and struck out last night. He's back in the starting role. Chris Coast is at first base. Lance Berkman, who did pinch hit and walk last night, is still out with a bad leg. And on the mound will be Hiroki Kuroda with a record of 3-5. Kuroda is 1-0 in his career against the Astros. Last time out, it would be in Milwaukee just before the All-Star break, and usually at that time of year, starters relieve. And Kuroda did relieve against Milwaukee, but he didn't do very well. He gave up 3 runs in an inning and a third. He has been tough against the Astros in 2 career starts. The Astros are hitting just .133 against him. So Houston trying to rise from the ashes. They arrived here break even, and they've won 2 out of 3. Cecil Cooper, who was kicked out of a ball game last night, back at the realm of the club and trying to get them on a winning note before they move on. The Giants, meanwhile, have just defeated Pittsburgh 4-3 as Michael Bourne, left-hand hitter, checks in. Kuroda makes his first pitch, drops it in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Bourne is a speedster. He has stolen 33 out of 41, hitting .284. The left-hand hitter swings, hits a slow roller to Furcal. Raphael doubles and drops it. So Raphael trying to double clutch, and suddenly the ball just slipped out of his hand. So that'll be a headache as far as Kuroda is concerned. Kuroda watching as he brought his arm back, so did Furcal, to throw, and it just came out of his hand, and it'll be an error. So Bourne at first base with a chance to bedevil Kuroda's concentration because of the error. They'll charge Furcal with the boot. In talking about the Giants beating Pittsburgh, Matt Cain was the winner, and he's now 11-2. So here now is Jeff Keppinger with Bourne at first. Kuroda ready and delivers, and the pitch off the plate, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Keppinger is the fellow, and we keep repeating it because it makes him rather marvelous. He's the modern day Brian Giles. He walks more than he strikes out. You don't say that about very many players. And he's been doing it his career, and it still holds up even today. The 1-0 pitch on the way to the right-hand batter is a fastball that's high and away, ball 2. 2-0 the count. The Astros have won 6 of the last 8, 8 of the last 11, and they've won 7 of the last 10 they played here at Dodger Stadium. They had a 5-game winning streak at Dodger Stadium, and that was wiped out last night. Kuroda at the belt, looks over at Bourne and decides he better throw over there, and Michael jumps back on the bag. So Keppinger at the plate, Bourne at first, and on deck Miguel Tejada. So Bourne trying to study the moves of Kuroda. Keppinger, a 29-year-old, went to school at the University of Georgia. Had an older brother who pitched in the Royals organization. 2-0 pitch, and that's outside. Knocked down by Brad Ausmus. 3-0 the count. So Kuroda starts off on a bad note. Routine ground ball dropped by Furcal. And he's behind now to Keppinger, 3-0. The error by Furcal would be his 12th. Tejada has 12 errors for the Astros. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way to Keppinger. Bourne goes on a strike, but a high throw, and Michael steals second base. So Ausmus had a good pitch to handle, a 3-0 fastball, and just hurried the throw, and it was up in the air for Furcal, and by the time he came down, the runner was safely in. So Bourne steals his 34th. He has 2 stolen bases in this series, and Keppinger up there 3-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Kuroda. Keppinger with 15 runs batted in. Right-hand batter waits, swings, hits a roller by the mound. Bourne hesitates, goes back to the bag, and the out recorded at first. So Keppinger, a little ground ball to short, 1 away. We'll take a look at the Dodgers defensively. Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blake, Furcal, Hudson, and Loney on the infield, and the battery of Kuroda and Ausmus. For Brad Ausmus, of course, he had a career with the Astros. As Ausmus goes into a crouch, he started with the Astros way back in 1997. Although he wouldn't know very many hitters as the personnel keeps changing. And here now Miguel Tejada, and Tejada takes a strike, and the count 0-1. 35-year-old shortstop holding his own, hitting .329, 8 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Tejada had 1 for 3 last night with a walk. He had a single and a home run the game before. Kuroda looking back at second. Hudson goes to the bag, but there's no throw. In the first game of the series, Tejada had a base hit, but he was also robbed 3 times. He could easily have had 4 hits in that Randy Wolf game. Tejada hitting .329 against right-handers and .329 against left-handers. You talk about consistency, thou art a jewel. That jewel is Miguel Tejada. Leads the National League in multi-hit games. He has 38 of them. 5th in the league with that .329 average. So Tejada at 5'9" makes it very tough to throw strikes, and he promptly golfs one to for call. Again, Bourne has to hold, and the out 6-3, and we have 2 down in the first inning, and Carlos Lee coming up. So Tejada, who had 1 hit last night, still has his streak going at 11, and Carlos Lee had a sore knee but stayed in there. Last night had trouble with a line drive to left field. It was going to be a base hit, but he played it into a triple. Carlos, meanwhile, hitting .307, 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Kuroda looks back at Bourne, comes to his hitter, and it's off the plate. Ball 1. In looking at Kuroda and his work, Lee is just 1 for 6 against him. Tejada's 0 for 6. Well, Michael Bourne at second with 2 out. Lee takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down first inning. The temperature 94 degrees when Hiroki Kuroda made his first pitch. 1-1 to count. Kuroda set at the belt. Another look back at Bourne. And the pitch to Carlos Lee is taken off the plate. Ball 2. Reminds us of Casey Stengel. First year they opened up Old Busch Stadium in St. Louis. They had AstroTurf, and it was a scorching hot day. And they said to Casey, what do you think of the new stadium? And he said it holds the heat well. Well, Southern California is holding the heat well in many areas. Here's the 2-1 pitch coming up to Carlos Lee, and that's a good fastball inside part of the plate. 2-2 the count. So the deuces are wild here in the first hand. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. At second base, Michael Bourne reached on an error, stole second. Lee trying to pick him up and pick up his own 50th RBI. Kuroda at the belt. Hiroki another look back at second. Bourne takes a pretty good lead, so Kuroda backs off the rubber. Not much he can do. Furcal is on the rim, and Hudson is on the rim. Though Bourne can take a pretty good lead without anybody going to the bag. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up to Carlos Lee. Kuroda delivers, and it's outside and high. Ball 3. Waiting on deck is the switch hitting veteran Jeff Blum. Kuroda, remember, has always had wonderful control. Hiroki has only walked 12 men in 55 innings. Right hander ready, and the 3-2 pitch to Carlos Lee is poked down the right field line, foul. Ball makes a nice play, and the count remains 3-2. Kuroda, remember, went 3-1 to Keppinger, and now 3-2 to Lee. So Bourne at second, 2 down first inning, and we're just starting. The Astros very successful against the Western Division. They're 18-8. 3-2 pitch coming up to Carlos Lee. Kuroda very deliberate, delivers, breaking ball down and away for ball 4. So Lee draws the walk, and the Astros have runners at first and second with 2 outs, and Jeff Blum coming up. Blum, a very handy guy to have on a ball club. Among other things, he is a switch hitter, but he can play third or second or first. He can even give you a spot in the outfield. The father of triplets, Jeff Blum. Kuroda set, looks at the runners. Blum hitting left-handed, and Hiroki delivers. It's swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Blum has not played that much against the Dodgers. He is 0 for 3 against Kuroda. No score, 2 out, 2 on, and we're just starting here in the top of the first inning. Kuroda right back with a pitch that stays up, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Jeff Blum out of Redwood City, lives in San Clemente from his days with the Padres, I guess. Originally drafted by the Expos, also played and was a big man for the White Sox. 1-1 pitch on the way, and Jeff swings, doesn't get it. 1-2. Game 3 of the World Series in 2005. Jeff Blum came up and hit a huge home run to win the game. Who were they playing? The White Sox? They were playing Houston. See here, Jeff now wearing the Astro colors, and the 1-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda ready. Here he comes, and it's whacked foul outside of first and down the line. Dangerous location for a left-hand hitter, down and in, and Blum was all over it, but pulled it too much. So Hiroki Kuroda trying to pick up and get some magic back. The 34-year-old struggling of late. One and two the count. Kuroda ready, and here he comes, and Blum takes very high. So Kuroda, who has the reputation, and well deserved, of being a control pitcher, but he's laboring here in the first inning. He's made 21 pitches in the first inning. He's already had 2 3-ball counts, and he's on the edge 2-2 to Jeff Blum. So Bourne at second, Lee at first with 2 out, and the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda delivers, and that's whacked foul upstairs off first. Pitch in on the hands, and Blum turned on it pretty well. So Hiroki takes a little walk back of the mound. Bourne walks back to second base. Carlos Lee standing at the bag at first. No score. We're in the first inning. Giants already won. They beat the Pirates 4-3. Hiroki certainly does not want to go 3-2, so he's giving Blum everything in the store. And the 2-2 pitch coming up. Right-hander ready. Here he comes, low. Ball 3. So a slight base running advantage for the Astros. Bourne will be going from second. Lee will be going from first. And it's the third 3-ball count for Hiroki here in the first inning. Runners ready to go. Bourne and Lee. Kuroda set at the belt. Blum waiting. Runners go. 3-2 pitch is swung on, a towering fly ball to right. Ethier has room, however, and makes the catch for the out. No runs, no hits. There was an error and 2 left, and at the end of half an inning, no score. He has 3 3-ball counts, but he survives the first. And here are the way the Dodgers stack up in the bottom half. Furcal and Hudson. Then you have Ramirez and Blake, Efialoni and Kemp. The only change from the regular lineup, Brad Ausmus behind the plate instead of Russell Martin, and Hiroki Kuroda on the mound. On the mound, Russ Ortiz, born in Encino, lives over in Arizona, and was originally selected by the Giants way back in 1995. Russ 2-3 as a starter and 3-5 for the year, and his first pitch away to Furcal, ball one. In fact, Ortiz, with a record of 2-3, picked up his first win as a starter in April against the Dodgers. The 1-0 pitch on the way, a slap bunt that's fouled away, with Furcal running up in the box and then swinging to try and hit a little ground ball to shortstop, as he tries to do and does so well. Ortiz got in a little hot water his last start, which was the 9th of July, just before the break. He was taken out after 3 innings, and he popped off about it, knocking Cecil Cooper. Soft line drive right to Tejada. So Furcal hits one to the opposite shortstop, and just like that, we have one
second
away.
baseman, number 13, Orlando Hudson.
For Russ Ortiz, who has been around a long time, he came up in 1998. He is 9-9 against the Dodgers in his career. He is 6-3 against the Dodgers here at Dodger Stadium. Russ, as we said, a local boy born in Encino. His mom was a 9/11 dispatcher for the Los Angeles Police Department. Russ, at 35, had Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. Drag bunt by Orlando Hudson. He's cut off at the pass as the tag is made by Chris Coast. So Hudson tries to drag one and is tagged out by the Astro first baseman, and that'll bring up Manny Ramirez. By the way, the Reds will be in here for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night, and Jason Schmidt will be on the mound for the Dodgers to make his first start in a couple of years. Meanwhile, Wednesday night is Manny Ramirez bobblehead night, and that game is sold out. So we have been asked to remind you that if you do not have a ticket for Wednesday night, we don't want you to be inconvenienced. Manny takes down and away, ball one, 1-0. Ramirez in last night's game had a double in the 6th inning. Had 3 hits in the 3 games. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's down and away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Russ Ortiz, he was a 21-game winner for the Atlanta Braves back in 2003. Went to school at the University of Oklahoma, and his wife-to-be was on the volleyball team, and they've been happily married ever since. The 2-0 pitch on the way, and Ramirez takes low, ball 3. Well, with Manny and the fact that he's tied with Mickey Mantle with 536 home runs, you figure that he is very dangerous. 3-0, nothing automatic about it at all. Ortiz ready, Russ delivers, and this pitch is a strike. Manny taking it all the way. Interesting thing about Russ Ortiz, seems hard to believe, and it was a long time ago, May of 2000. He allowed 10 runs in a game and won. Ortiz holding the ball at the belt, now turns, ready. His 3-1 pitch, Manny swings and grounds it foul outside of third. 3-2 the count. Wasn't the first time that somebody allowed 10 runs and won the game. Bob Friend, who pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates many years ago and a very good pitcher, he also gave up 10 and won. 3-2 the count. Ramirez with 2 down, first inning, no score. Ortiz taking a long time reading Pudge Rodriguez, and Manny backs out. 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in for Ramirez. Ortiz turns, ready. Russ comes back. Fastball fouled away. So the duel continues. Anyone who studied baseball and has a penchant for history would remember Russ Ortiz, 2002, Dusty Baker, the San Francisco Giants, and the Angels. You know what I'm talking about? 3-2 the count to Manny Ramirez. Rush ready. Here he comes, and it is swung on and missed. So Ramirez strikes out. More about Ortiz and Baker and the Giants and the Angels later on. At the end of an inning, no score. Second inning, no score in the ball game. Kuroda made 24 pitches. Ortiz made 11, and we go to the second inning. It'll be Hunter Pence, Pudge Rodriguez, and then Chris Coast in that order. Hiroki Kuroda, when the Dodgers first signed him, I remember the story was he doesn't like to pitch in cold weather. Well, be careful what you ask for. And he's out there today, 94 degrees, and gets a strike to Hunter Pence. Hunter batting .295, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in, an all-star this year. The young right fielder swings, pops it in the air. Coming down from first is Loney, fighting the sun, and makes the catch. He needed everything: sunglasses, the bill of the cap, and his glove. He cast a little shade and made it look easy. One away, and the batter will be Pudge Rodriguez. Rodriguez, Friday night, had 3 singles and a home run, scored 2, knocked in a couple, did not play last night, and then came up as a pinch hitter with 2 out and the bases loaded, and struck out against Jonathan Broxton, who actually struck out the side, but a lot tougher than it sounds. So here comes Kuroda. Rodriguez takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. You have at home plate right now 2 rather remarkable young men in Pudge Rodriguez and Brad Ausmus. And of course, when you talk about Pudge, you talk about his incredible career. But Brad Ausmus has had a great career himself as the pitch is swung on and fouled away. There's only one other catcher in all of Major League history who has recorded more putouts than Brad Ausmus, and that's Pudge Rodriguez. And then there's Jason Kendall. 0-2 the count. Rodriguez, right-hand batter, fouls it away. Still 0-2. Pudge is 37. He'll be 38 in November. First came up to play with the Rangers in 1991. His biggest year was 99, when he had 35 home runs and 113 runs batted in, and hit a cool .332. Strike 2 pitch on the way, and he takes down and away ball 1. Pudge Rodriguez, for all the games he has caught and everything else, he's 5'9" and 190. Brad Ausmus is 5'11" and 195. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda deals off the plate with the fastball, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. So Kuroda, who made 24 pitches in the first inning, as far as his usual game, he's off his feed here. Rodriguez waiting. Kuroda arches his back. Now the 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away. Second inning, no score. Hiroki Kuroda battling Pudge Rodriguez. They have never faced each other before. Rodriguez waiting. Kuroda from the first base side of the rubber, and his 2-2 pitch on the way, and that swung on, hit in the air to right field, and back goes Ify, turning to play it off the wall. The ball hits the wall and then drops like a poached egg. So into second base goes Rodriguez with a stand-up double. You were expecting the ball to hit the wall and come back quickly to Ify, but that didn't happen. So Rodriguez, who was 4 for 5 the other night, probably doubles in his first at bat today. And with 1 out, the batter will be Chris Coast. For Rodriguez, he continues to amaze. That's his 12th double. Coast trying to pick him up. The Astros left runners at first and second in the first inning. Now they get a 1-out double in the second. Kuroda looks back at Rodriguez, now works Coast, and Chris takes low and inside, ball 1. The Astros are playing without their main machine, and that would be Lance Berkman. Berkman with 18 home runs, 55 runs batted in, and a healthy Bergman makes Astros so much tougher. No knock on Coast. He's a catcher and first baseman, but he is not a Berkman. He fouls it away. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Chris, who spells his last name Coste. And we mentioned it last night. When he was in the minor leagues, he wrote a book. I love the title of the book. Hey, I'm only the catcher. Well, obviously, with a good sense of humor, he swings, grounds 1 to third. Up with it there is Blake to throw him out. Holding with the ball hit ahead of him. Rodriguez anchored at second. And Russ Ortiz, who's a pretty good hitting pitcher, or at least he used to be, coming up. Ortiz has 4 hits, including a home run and 2 runs batted in, so he can still swing the bat a bit. Maybe not the hitter that Mike Hampton was, but nevertheless, he is a threat. He has 7 home runs in his career, does Ortiz, as Hampton looks on from the dugout. Russ is a .205 hitter. Right-hand batter looks at a pitch off the plate, ball 1. 1-0 the count. 2 down, second inning, no score. Dodgers and the Astros. Kuroda, right foot on the rubber, now set at the belt. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Hiroki delivers low and away, ball 2. So he is making a lot of pitches, and of course in this heat the pitch count is even more relative than just the usual games. 2 balls and no strikes. Ortiz waiting, takes a look at his strike, and the count 2-1. Michael Bourne is on deck. An error by Furcal, a stolen base, and a 2-out walk. The Astros then had Blum fly out. Here, a 1-out double by Rodriguez. Coast grounds out. So here's Ortiz. 2-1 pitch to Russ is swung on and foul back. And the count 2-2. For the Astros, when you talk about their pitching, you immediately talk about Wandy Rodriguez and Roy Oswalt. As Cecil Cooper tries to get his ball club close, and they're only 3 back of St. Louis. The questions are Hampton and Ortiz. 2-2 pitch is swung on, hit to left field, going out to get it, and making the catch is Rafael Furcal. Just a little flare. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the big deal today for just $2.99 plus tax. Choose a chicken sandwich or cheeseburger with 2 tacos and a 20-ounce drink. And by Verizon, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. Bottom of the second inning, no score in the ball game. Casey Blake, Andre Ethier, and James Loney. And Russ Ortiz delivers a strike, and the count 0-1. Casey, as he checks in, hitting .283, 12 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Ortiz, both feet in the rubber, then turns and comes back over the top and stays high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, we were talking about Russ Ortiz and Dusty Baker and the Angels in the World Series. Russ ready now, the 1-1 pitch, and Blake fouls it back. In Game 6 of the World Series against the Giants and Angels, Ortiz was pitching a gem, 6 shutout innings. Then he gave up a couple of singles to Troy Gloss and Brad Fulmer, and Dusty Baker went out to the mound. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up to Blake, inside at the knuckles, 2-2. And Dusty took Ortiz out of the game, and as Ortiz walked off the mound on the grass towards a Giant dugout, Baker called him back. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Casey Blake, and that's ball 3. And when he called him back, he gave Ortiz the baseball, as if to say, here, you've won the game, I want you to treasure this ball. Oh, really? Well, the Angels came back, won the game, and went on to win the World Series. And they all said that they were stirred up. Here's the 3-2 pitch, swung on and fouled back out of play. The Angels were stirred up because Baker had called Ortiz back and gave him the ball. Well, maybe, it made a good story anyway. But those who saw it will forever remember, you don't see managers calling pitchers back and giving them the ball. The 3-2 pitch is fouled away, so Casey's up there hitting him every which way. 3-2 the count to the Dodger third baseman. Then Ethier and Loney. Reds here starting tomorrow night. Ortiz looks down the barrel to get a sign from Rodriguez. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and foul tipped and held by Rodriguez. Down goes Blake. Second strikeout for Ortiz. Saturday sports and entertainment collide on the field at Dodger Stadium. The Hollywood Stars softball game presented by Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. You can enjoy softball at 5 and the Dodgers and the Marlins at 7:10. Call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/Hollywood. One away. Andre Ethier checks in with James Loney out on deck. Ethier batting .248. Andre takes high, ball 1, 1-0. For Ethier, it has been a struggle. It usually is for all of them at some stage. And his struggle has been the month of July. And he's 1 for 7 in this series. Andre promptly hits a line drive right at Chris Coast, the first baseman. So down he goes. And we have 2 out in the second inning. No score. And James Loney coming up.
Number 7, James Loney.
So Ethier heading back for the dugout, and Loney coming up to the plate. No score, bottom of the second inning. For the Astros, they've certainly had their chances. They are already 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Dodgers haven't had a base runner yet against Ortiz. Loney hitting .279, 7 home runs, 54 runs batted in. Ortiz ready into the windup, right-handed deals, and the fastball on the outside corner for a strike. You have yourself a veteran battery here with Russ Ortiz at 35 and Pudge Rodriguez almost 38 behind the plate. The strike 1 pitch to Loney. He has a look, and that's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tomorrow night, great deal of interest in the return of Jason Schmidt. And he'll be going up against Cincinnati. The 1-1 pitch is inside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Jason Schmidt is 36 years old. The last time he pitched in a major league game was the 16th of June 2007. And Joe Torre said, well, we want to see what he has. He certainly does not have the velocity that he had as a younger man and before all of his physical problems. 2-1 the count to James Loney. And Ortiz delivers little ground ball. Coming up to get it is Keppinger. Flips over the coast in time. And the Dodgers go very quietly. 6 in a row retired by Ortiz. And at the end of 2, no score. Keppinger and Miguel Tejada in that order. And Hiroki Kuroda has made 41 pitches in the first 2 innings and has gotten himself in a little bit of trouble, plus an error by shortstop Rafael Furcal, but so far so good as he goes to work now. Second time around the Astro lineup. And Bourne pokes one down the left field line, hits the chalk. So the ball is very live, and into second base with a double goes Michael Bourne. So again, the Astros have somebody in scoring position.
Third baseman, number 28.
They've had Bourne at second base in the first inning, Rodriguez, who doubled in the second, and now Bourne, who doubles in the third. For Michael Bourne, 17 doubles, and now Keppinger, Tejada, and Lee trying to pick him up. Keppinger, slow roll at a shortstop for an out in the first inning. We're in the third, no score. Hiroki set, ready, right-handed deals, fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Joe Resnick of the Associated Press did a little study. You may know that Joe Torre celebrated his 69th birthday yesterday. And Joe Resnick did some deep research on Joe and his birthday and his success on his birthday as a manager. Took a lot of work. Turns out that Torre is 15-9 on his birthday, but more importantly, 9-0 on his birthday at home. And that continued last night. The pitch is a strike. Keppinger showing bunt. So he's in a hole now, 0-2. Bourne at second, nobody out in the third. No runs, 2 hits for the Astros, nothing for the Dodgers. Dodgers are 6-7 against the Central Division. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up to Keppinger. He takes way outside, ball 1. So the Dodgers struggling against the Central, but they fatten up against their own division in the West. And for the Astros, they wish they were in the West. They're 18-8. Bourne at second, nobody out. Third inning, no score. Keppinger, right-hand batter. The 1-2 pitch fouled away off to the right upstairs, though the count holds 1-2. In the series with Cincinnati that starts tomorrow, Micah Owings, one of the better hitting pitchers in the league, will be on the mound for the Reds against Jason Schmidt. Homer Bailey will go against Randy Wolf. Bronson Arroyo against Chad Billingsley. The next pitch is poked in the air, and it's one-handed by Orlando Hudson as he goes into shallow right field, racing towards the foul pole. Last night, the Dodgers got a big lift from Clayton Kershaw. He struck out 5 in a brilliant 7 innings where he walked only 1. Started off by striking out Mike Hampton. Then he got Matsui. Then he moved along to Hunter Pence. And then finally, Pence the second time. Watch this one if you're watching on TV. He didn't know what to do. That's that old expression of fish or cut bait. So 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. And a gem. And Randy Wolf telling him, look at the camera, kid. Good natured from one left-hander to the other. 1 away, 3rd inning, and a soft line drive to Loney. So now the Astros are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And the batter will be Carlos Lee as Tejada hits that softy right at Loney. To call it a line drive would only describe the trajectory. It was not hit hard. So Cecil, who was kicked out of last night's game, has to be thoroughly frustrated today. And Carlos Lee, who walked on a 3-2 pitch at the plate. Kuroda looks back at second and works the first pitch inside. Ball 1. Interesting to see Carlos Lee and Brad Ausmus in the same frame on TV. We've talked about it. The fact that Carlos Lee is a rancher, over 6,000 head of cattle, and he also breeds Brahma bulls, and he enters them in breeding contests. And he had a Brahma bull that won an award. This time a line drive base hit into right field. Here comes Bourne to the plate. They'll never catch him, and it's 1-0 Astros. Anyway, the prize-winning bull for Carlos Lee was named after Brad Ausmus. He calls him Big Oz, and the bull won, and Carlos got a big certificate which he had framed, and then he presented it to Brad Ausmus. Right now he brands the Dodgers with a base hit and a run batted in. So it is 1-0 in favor of the Astros, and the batter is Jeff Blum. Michael Bourne cashed in following his double. Jeff Blum flied to right in the first inning. Kuroda set at the belt, looks over at Big Lee, comes to the plate, and the pitch is high. I think the biggest thing about Kuroda right now is lack of control. You say, oh, well, how many has he walked? And the answer is none. But he is not pitching the ball where he's designed to pitch it. So he's been struggling, making too many pitches. 1 ball and no strikes to Jeff Blum. Hiroki at the belt, checking Lee. Now back to Blum, and throws it over the head of Ausmus all the way to the backstop. Brad throws it back to Furcal, but not in time to get Lee. So 2-0 the count on the wild pitch. Ausmus had enough sense when the ball comes back off the backstop. He's not giving up. He's thinking, wait a minute, that's Carlos Lee. I'm going to try and get him. And he threw down. It was reasonably close. Also, remember, Lee had a bruised knee, and you can bet Ausmus had all of that going on. They're calling it a pass ball. It almost acts like he was crossed up. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way, and that's whacked to right field. Ethier going back. It's over his head. It is over the wall, bouncing into the bullpen. A 2-run home run for Jeff Blum, and the Astros lead the Dodgers 3-0. Carlos Lee stands at home plate to talk to Ausmus as Blum touches them all, and then they go back together to the dugout.
Now batting right Fielder number
So
9.
again, that pitch that was called a wild pitch certainly looked like it fooled Ausmus completely. The official scorer feeling that Brad should have caught it, and then Blum follows with a home run that hits the railing of the pavilion and kicks into the bullpen. Now Hunter Pence. By the way, for Jeff Blum, his 3rd home run this year. 14 runs batted in, so he's more than a handyman. He's been doing a very good job. The strike 1 pitch to Pence is off the plate, 1-1. Pence popped up to Loney in the 2nd inning. 3-0 Astros in the 3rd inning. Double, single, and a home run. The 1-1 pitch is swung on, fouled away, 1-2. So Ausmus hits one, gets by him to the backstop, unable to get Lee, and then Blum follows. Maybe Kuroda makes a lack of concentration pitch. He fools Pence down and away, and Hunter strikes out. However, Kuroda pays the price. He gives up single, double, home run, and at the end of 2.5, 3-0 Astros. It's 3-0. Hiroki Kuroda, laboring in the heat, has made 57 pitches, and I really think he crossed up Ausmus because Brad was set for a pitch down, and instead the ball was up over his head. He barely did get his mitt on it as it went to the backstop. And maybe that pitch upset Kuroda's concentration just enough to give up the home run ball to Jeff Blum. You'll never know. Meanwhile, Matt Kemp shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Matt batting .315 with 11 home runs, 52 runs batted in. Russ Ortiz leading 3-0 comes back, breaking ball up and away, 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Russ checking, waiting his Kemp, and Ortiz comes back 1-1, high again, ball 2. For years, Ortiz had a black glove, and he had his name stitched in red letters on the side of the glove. I don't know if we are taking a look. Don't see it right now. The 2-1 pitch on the way, swung on and foul back, 2-2. Of course, he could have also changed the sporting goods company. He used to have a glove by Rawlings, and the glove he's wearing now, it says TPX on it. So gone is Rawlings, gone is his name. And 2-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Up and in to move him out of there. and a 3-2 count. So Ortiz drives Matt Kemp off the plate. 3-2 the count. Brad Ausmus on deck, and then Hiroki Kuroda. Big sigh from Russ Ortiz as he looks in to get a sign. Now the 3-2 pitch. Ortiz delivers down and away. Ball 4. So Kemp draws a walk. The Dodgers have a base runner, and Ausmus coming up. You know, next Sunday you can head to the beach, Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium. There's unlimited barbecue, a Dodgers floppy hat, and a private beach party presented by Bud Light. Party starts at 11:40, so get here early. To purchase tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. Boys and girls are up there today. The lifeguard is up there occasionally spraying them. It's all part of the good-natured fun, taking in the game from a different vantage point. So here is Ausmus batting 8th in the lineup, takes a strike. Ortiz pitching out of the stretch for the first time. He had retired 6 in a row. Ausmus, who came up with the Padres and then was with the Astros briefly in 7 and 8, and then for a stretch from 2001 through last year. The strike one pitch, Brad takes high, 1-1. For Ausmus, he's 40 years old. 3 Gold Gloves, over 1,200 games with the Astros. Brad went to Dartmouth University. He's from New Haven, Connecticut. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ortiz set at the belt. There goes Kemp. The pitch is off the plate. The throw down, and he's in there. So Matt Kemp goes back to get his hat. He has now stolen 20 out of 24. No glide step or slide step for Ortiz. He raised that leg, and that was the difference. Good throw by Pudge Rodriguez, but just late. So Kemp steals his 20th. It's 1-0 Astros, and the Dodgers now trying to pick him up and get even. Of course, Matt with 35 stolen bases last year. Ausmus fouls it away, and it looked like he was trying to take a shot at right field. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brad Ausmus. Kemp at second, nobody out, 3rd inning. 1-0 in favor of the Astros. Don't forget the sunblock, and remember to drink a lot of water today. 2-2 the count. Ortiz at the belt. Rush ready, works the hitter, and there's a drive into the gap in right center. Pence can't get it. It'll go to the wall. In comes Matt Kemp on a double by Brad Ausmus, and we have a 1-1 tie. Oh, and talking about a 1-1 tie, my mind was away from it, and I apologize. The Dodgers get a run, but the Astros have 3, and it's 3-1 in favor of the Astros as Hiroki Kuroda comes up. Okay. So maybe Kuroda was distracted by the pass ball of the wild pitch, and it rubbed off up here. He tries to bunt, and it's fouled at the plate, and the count 0-1. So Brad Ausmus doubles in Kemp. The Dodgers get on the board, and the Astros lead 3-1. Scully. Kuroda, a look down to Larry Boa to check for the moment. Ausmus taking his lead, and Miguel Tejada is right back of him. They look bunt again. Kuroda takes off the plate while in the act of being ready to bunt. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Astros 3, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 3rd. Again, Tejada is not just holding him on, he's holding him in a conversation. He's so close. Kuroda tries to bunt, fouls it back, and the count 1-2. Hiroki in bunt situations this year has 4. Billingsley and Kershaw have 6. So we'll see if the bunt is still on. Kuroda has not been able to do anything this year with the bat. 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts. So we'll try to bunt again. Shows bunt, then swings and fouls it away. So 1-2 to Hiroki Kuroda. Jeff Blum plays well in on the grass at third. Chris Coast in on the grass at first. And the Astros leading the Dodgers 3-1 on a hot day. It was 94 here at Dodger Stadium when the game started. I'm sure well over 100 in areas in the valley. The 1-2 pitch, full swing foul, though Kuroda is still there. So Russ Ortiz, given a 3-run inning in the top of the third, gives one back at least on a walk to Kemp, who stole second, and Ausmus, who on the previous pitch looked like he was going to take a shot to right field, and the next pitch did, and doubled to right field to drive in the run. 1-2 pitch. Kuroda swings, punches it on the ground. Fair ball. The tag by Coast, but he got his man over to third. So Kuroda able to advance Ausmus. And we have one out. 90 feet away is Ausmus, and trying to pick him up, Rafael Furcal. Kuroda will get 5s in the dugout as he got his man over. Furcal, a soft line drive to Tejada in the first inning. Right side of the infield is deep. The left side shortened up a little bit. Blum is even with the bag. Tejada's up a couple of steps. Now Keppinger comes up a little, and Furcal takes inside. Ball 1, 1-0. 3-1 Astros. We're in the third inning. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way to Rafael, and Furcal swings and misses, trying to uppercut it. Rafael hitting .253, 247 right, and about .254 left. Ortiz has allowed 1 run, 1 hit. Russ at the belt, and the 1-1 pitch to Rafael Furcal. Full swing foul down the left field line. 1-2 the count. They have pretty good arms out there in the outfield for the Astros. Carlos Lee has 6 assists. Michael Bourne in center field has 8, and Hunter Pence in right has 7. Case of a fly ball. A 1-2 pitch is high. Ausmus, 40-year-old catcher at third base, so it could be a close play at the plate. 1 out, 2-2 to Furcal. On deck, Orlando Hudson and Russ Ortiz battling Rafael Furcal. Russ ready, and his 2-2 pitch coming up, and that's taken low and away. Ball 3. Ortiz got into trouble when he walked Matt Kemp opening up the inning. Matt stole second. Ausmus doubled him home. Kuroda advances Ausmus to third, and Furcal trying to get him all the way, working on a 3-2 count. Ortiz ready, and the right-handed delivers, and it is swung on and missed. And Rafael Furcal strikes out. A big second out here in the third inning. It's also the 3rd strikeout for Russ Ortiz, and it'll bring up a red-hot Orlando Hudson. Hudson has had 9 hits in his last 15 at-bats. So Orlando checking in. Ortiz, right foot on the rubber, looks down to get a sign, and Manny Ramirez waits on deck, so it's a big at bat for Hudson. Ortiz, hands together at the belt, right-handed delivers and gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Dodgers have 4 men with at least 50 RBIs. Ethier, Blake, Loney, and Kim. Hudson has 49. If he can pick up the RBI, that would be a first for the Dodgers and in the big leagues to have 5 players with 50 or more runs batted in. He takes 1-1. Andre Ethier leading the pack with 56. 1 ball and 1 strike to Orlando Hudson. Ortiz, by the way, trying to work his way out of the jam here. Ausmus steadying him. Ortiz, with a runner at third, has 2 wild pitches this year. Astros 3, Dodgers 1, bottom of the third. And the 1-1 pitch coming up. Orlando takes a strike. 1-2 the count. Hudson was 3 for 4 last night. Came into this one 7 for 10 in the series. Takes very high over his head. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. The Astros lead 3-1. Brad Ausmus coming down the line from third, and Manny Ramirez waiting on deck. 2-2 the count. Ortiz at the belt. Russ ready, delivers, little ground ball to short. Tejada picks it up. He has to hurry, and he gets him. So Hudson fails to deliver. They leave Ausmus, but they do get 1. And at the end of 3, Astros 3, Dodgers. I mean, you are really something special if you know the top 3 that year, but we'll serve it out and see what you do with it. At least it's just part of his glistening credentials as a major league pitcher. 3-1 in favor of the Astros in the 4th inning. Pudge Rodriguez, Chris Coast, and then Russ Ortiz. It is ice cream licking day here at Dodger Stadium. It was 94 when the game started. It actually feels a little hotter now. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Astros, 1 run, 1 hit for the Dodgers. And the fans are doing just that. Rodriguez doubled in the 2nd inning with 1 out, but they left him. Off the plate, ball 1. Pudge Rodriguez, boy, what a career. He was quite a pitcher when he was a little guy. Of course, he's only 5'9" now, but when he was in the Little League, he had 7 no-hitters including 2 no-hitters in one day. And he threw so hard they finally had to make him a catcher because he was making a joke out of it as a pitcher. Funny how fate intervenes. He probably never would have made it as a pitcher, and he's had an incredible career as a catcher. His mom was a school teacher in Puerto Rico. She's now the principal of the school, and his dad an electrician. His first day in spring training as a professional, they hung the nickname Pudge on him. He's 5'9", 190. A minor league coach is the guy responsible for the nickname. In fact, in those days they called him Pudgy and then shortened it to Pudge. 3-2 the count to Rodriguez. Interesting too about Pudge Rodriguez, he had planned to marry his childhood sweetheart in between games of a doubleheader in the minor leagues in Tulsa, and the night before the wedding the Rangers called Yvonne up. What they did was they canceled the wedding, and his bride-to-be just went with him. A hopper that's knocked down by Loney feeds Kuroda coming over. And Rodriguez was then married at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they caught a flight, and he's been in the big leagues ever since. Here's the schedule at home. 3 games with the Reds. Schmidt starting Monday. Wednesday sold out. Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. And then next weekend, after a Thursday off date, the weekend with Florida. One away here in the 4th, and Chris Coast grounded to third in the 2nd inning coming up. Coast hitting .241 and lifts a pop fly back of third down the line. A trio of Dodgers, and it is Ramirez. So 2 out here in the 4th inning. Astros 3, Dodgers 1, and the batter is Russ Ortiz, who popped a short in the 2nd inning. Ortiz with a .167 batting average, does have a home run. That's 7 in his career. 0-1 to count. Kuroda trying to settle in after that shaky 3rd inning when he gave up a double to Bourne, a 2-out single to Lee, and a home run to Blum. 1-1. And that's lined into right center. So Ortiz can still swing the bat. I guess the old expression about it's like learning to ride the bicycle. You never forget how to hit. So Russ a sharp single with 2 out. That'll bring up Michael Bourne. They're not going to hold the bag on Ortiz. They don't expect him to do any running. Bourne, meanwhile, has gone the other way twice. Ground ball to Furcal, who committed an error, and then doubled to left. Ball 1. Bourne hitting .286. Of course, for Michael Bourne, the Astros would love to see him cut down on his strikeouts. Just make contact. He runs so well. He is anything but a power hitter and slaps it into left field for a base hit. And Ortiz goes to second. So how many young ball players have you heard coaches say, here he is, he has struck out 76 times and he is still hitting close to .290. If we could ever cut it down on his strikeouts, he would hit, and he falls right into that category. Good player. He's 2 for 3 today. 2 on, 2 out, and Jeff Keppinger is the batter. Keppinger grounded to short and popped to second. And a strike. Astros 3 runs on 6 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 1 hit. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Keppinger's old club, the Reds, will be here tomorrow night. Two on, 2 out. Way out in front, fouls it back, coming over as Ausmus at the screen to one-handed. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for the Astros, and at the end of 3.5 innings, it remains Astros 3. In the Cy Young Award voting back in 2003. And who were the top 3 that year? Well, number 1, Eric Gagne. Number 2, Jason Schmidt, whom we're going to see tomorrow night. And number 3, Mark Pryor off the campus of USC. You know, Gagne was 55 for 55 in save opportunities that year. And Jason Schmidt was 17-5 for the Giants that year. Ortiz was with the Braves. Manny Ramirez followed by Casey Blake and Andre Ethier. 3-1 Houston. Manny struck out in the first inning. 1 ball and no strikes. Two and 0. They have done a very good job on Ramirez in the series. He has just 2 hits in 13 at bats. One of the 2 hits a double. Fouled away, 2-1. If you joined us a little late in the 3rd inning, Michael Bourne doubled to left, and with 2 out, Carlos Lee singled to right to drive him in, and then Jeff Blum hit a home run. That gave the Astros 3. The Dodgers came back on a walk to Kemp, who stole second, scored on a double by Ausmus, and that's it. 3-1 Astros in the 4th. 3-1 to count to Manny Ramirez. He was 3-1 in the first inning, then 3-2, and then struck out. Ortiz with 3 strikeouts. And he walks Ramirez to open up the 4th.
Third baseman number 23, Casey Blake.
Casey Blake struck out in the 2nd inning. Casey 0 for 1. Manny at first. He has not been involved in anything to do with a stolen base. Blake followed by Ethier. 3-1 Astros, bottom of the 4th. That thing almost got away. Rodriguez just did get the glove on that one, and he might have been a little crossed up, just as I feel that Ausmus was crossed up earlier. Manny Ramirez, standing over there at first base, had 2 stolen bases last year for the Dodgers. He had 1 stolen base for the Red Sox the year before, and then you'd have to go back 4 years before he had another stolen base. Way back in the low minors, Manny stole 29 bases, but in the big leagues, 3 would be his highest. 1 ball and no strikes to Casey Blake. That's a strike. 1-1. Casey hitting .282, 12 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Starts in breaking ball and gets away with it. 1-2, working on Blake. Ortiz labored hard in the 3rd inning when he made 28 pitches. One ball and 2 strikes. And that's popped up in foul ground. Here comes Chris Coast along with Rodriguez, and it is Rodriguez. So Casey Blake fouls out to the Astro catcher, 1 away, and the batter will be Andre Ethier. So we saw Rodriguez make a good play on that foul ball. We saw Brad Ausmus go right to the screen to one-hand Keppinger's foul ball. So we're looking at artists at work. Ethier hit a ball right at Chris Coast, so he's 0 for 1. Had a very solid month of June, and he has cooled off in July. And ball 1. Astros 3, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 4th. All the action took place in the 3rd inning. Ethier will look down to Larry Boa for a quick second, and James Loney on deck. And that's going to be hit into right field. Base hit. Hunter Pence will get it back in. So the Dodgers have something going here in the 4th inning. 2 on, 1 out, and James Loney coming up on a walk to Ramirez and a single by Ethier. James Loney grounded out to Keppinger, the 2nd baseman, in the 2nd inning. James is 1 for 7 in this 4-game series. He was rested last night for most of the game. Mark Loretta played first last evening. Loney hitting .278. Little ground ball back to get it is Tejada. They get 1. The throw to first is a double play. Fine play. Miguel Tejada having to go back to the hole and turn it into a double play. No runs, a hit, a man left. The end of 4, 3-1 Astros. Russ Ortiz working his way out of 2 jams, although he did surrender a run in the 3rd inning. He has gotten through 4, leading 3-1. He's made a total of 65 pitches. And Miguel Tejada, who started that tough double play on Loney, will start off the 5th inning. Tejada has grounded to short and lined out to first. Tejada with an 11-game hitting streak, and so consistent. Came in hitting .329 against left-handers, .329 against right-handers. 0-1 the count on that bunt attempt. Four years ago, in the first half, Tejada hit .329, so boy, he really is consistent. 1 ball and 1 strike to Miguel. Tejada from Bani in the Dominican Republic. Fouled it back. Grew up in total poverty in one of Dominican's poorest regions. Neighborhood was without water or electricity, and as he said, if I wanted to take a shower, I went down to the river with a bucket. If you needed water, you had to go and get it. And then what little he had, he was only 3. The family lost everything in Hurricane David. That hurricane claimed about 1,100 lives. He was only 3 at the time, but his family had zip, nothing. So he started shining shoes, begging in the streets, dropped out of school, worked in a garment factory, just doing anything to make a buck. And for Tejada, it's interesting, not to really get into his privacy, but from abject poverty, his last 2 years, last year and this, almost $15 million each year. Only in America. And here comes Carlos Lee. Lee walks, single to right. Off speed for a strike. 0-1 to Carlos. Lee from Agua Dulce in Panama. Back in 1999, he got everybody's attention. Came up to the White Sox, and in his first major league at bat, boom, home run. He's the rancher. He has a ranch in Panama with about 6,000 head of cattle. We told you earlier about the bull named for Brad Osmus. Hard ground ball to Casey Blake. 2 out. Hey friends, you can set sail with the Dodgers on the first ever Dodger Life fishing adventure. You can join Brent Leach and James McDonald on a private chartered fishing boat for a day of deep sea fishing, July 23rd. Packages include lunch, parking, and equipment. To purchase, call us at 323-224-2646 or visit Dodgers.com/DodgerLife. A strike to Jeff Blum, who flied to right and then hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. Blum with 3 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Switch hitter. Went to University of California in Berkeley. Two and 1 to count. We mentioned his home run for the White Sox to help beat Houston in the World Series. Only one other player to hit a go-ahead home run or a game-winning home run, and the only at bat in the series. And you know the other fella, Kirk Gibson. 3 and 1 to count to Jeff Blum, father of 4 daughters, 3 of whom arrived just about simultaneously as triplets. Fouled away. 3-2 the count. Jeff played here in CIF championships. Had a ball game where the ball went through his legs and the only run of the game scored. It took him a long time to get over that. He strokes that one foul. In high school, he was playing third base when the ball went through his legs. For the rest of the time, he played shortstop. Crowning moment, certainly when he received a scholarship to Cal Berkeley. And he gets himself ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Blum will bring up Hunter Pence.
Batting next, right fielder Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence 0 for 2 today. He is 3 for 15 in the series. Be the last time we're going to see him for a while, and we mentioned it a couple of times. He's 6'4", and yet as a big man, it's a surprise to see that he chokes up on the bat. You'll see pitchers come up to the plate in this day and age holding the bat right down on the knob, and then you see a fellow who hit 25 home runs last year actually choke up on the bat. I mean, sure, if you're David Eckstein, all right, but 6'4", but he has made it pay off. Hunter Pence, he's 6'4" and 220. Ground ball up the middle, smothered by Furcal, but he throws too late. Great effort by Raphael. Blum just did get into second base ahead of the throw, so the batter will be Pudge Rodriguez. So an infield single, despite the sprawling stop and the awkward flip. Too late. So first and second, 2 out, and Pudge Rodriguez coming up. Raphael diving every which way and making so many great plays, but not that time. Rodriguez has doubled and grounded out. Pudge 1 for 2, hitting .257. 8 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Talk about a workhorse. It was back in 1996. Pudge Rodriguez had 639 at bats. That broke a record that had been set by Johnny Bench. Talk about playing every day. And ball 1. Pudge quite a favorite in Texas. He started the Ivan Rodriguez Charitable Fund to help underprivileged youth and child cancer victims in the Dallas area. Ten years ago, he was the first catcher in Major League history to have 20 home runs and steal 20 bases. He was the American League MVP. 1-1. And a line drive at Casey Blake. So Kuroda dodges a bullet. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of 4.5 innings, it's still 3-1 Houston. thoroughly frustrated as the fans are being cooled off up at the beach. Down in the Astro dugout, it'll take more than a hose to cool off Cecil Cooper, because the Astros, with runners in scoring position, are 2 for 11. They could have broken this game open, wide open, and much earlier. Instead, the Dodgers hang tough, trail 3-1, and it will be Matt Kemp to start it off. Kemp started off with a stolen base in the third inning and was eventually cashed in for the Dodger run. And the first pitch is strike. Guillermo Mota is up in the Dodger bullpen, so they might be thinking about hitting for Kuroda. 0-2 to Matt. Kemp walked, stole second. Brad Osmus doubled him in the third. 3-1 Astros, bottom of the fifth. Ortiz has had 2 innings where he made 20 pitches and 24 pitches. So he's been working hard. Started this inning having made 92 pitches. And that's fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes to Matt Kemp. And a flare, and it's going to drop. So Matt Kemp doesn't hit it hard, but he's strong enough to carry it beyond the infield, get himself a base hit. The batter will be Brad Osmus, and immediately Kemp will put a little extra pressure on the battery of Ortiz and Rodriguez. Blake DeWitt comes out on deck, and he'll be hitting for Kuroda. So Kemp, who stole his 20th base in the third inning, held on by Coast. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Astros. Dodgers 1 run on 3 hits. After Kemp stole second in the third inning, Osmus tried to go to right field and fouled a pitch back, went to right field on the next pitch and doubled to right center. One ball and no strikes. So Kuroda, who struggled with quite a few 3-ball counts, right on the edge of coming out. One and 0 to Brad. Ball 2. Astros scored 3 in the top of the third. Dodgers came back with 1, and that's it. We're in the 5th inning, nobody out. Kemp at first. Osmus checking with Larry Boa. 2-0 count. And there goes Kemp, and the pitch foul back. So 2-1 is usually a hit and run count, and Boa, following Joe Torre's lead, flashed hit and run 2-0. So now 2-1, and we'll see if they come right back with the same play. Osmus, a long look at Boa. Kemp back to the bag, and we'll see if Matt goes again. Kemp goes. Hit and run foul ball. So they put it on 2-0 and 2-1, and the count's now 2-2. Blake DeWitt waiting on deck to hit for Kuroda, and then Rafael for call. Cincinnati here tomorrow night, and Jason Schmidt on the mound. Wednesday night sold out. Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. And a breeze blowing from left to right for the moment. Kemp not going, and a fly ball into the gap in left center, and there is nobody there. Bourne finally picks it up. Here comes Kemp to the plate. The hottest throw to the plate, not in time. Down to second base goes Ausmus, and the Astro lead is 3-2. So Brad Ausmus giving his old club a very bad time. He doubled to right center in the third inning to drive in Kemp, and he doubles to left center to drive in Kemp in the fifth inning. Tejada made a pretty good throw, but Rodriguez took it 3 feet behind home plate. So Ausmus is now the tying run at second base. 3-2 Houston. So the Dodgers are doing the exact opposite of the Astros. The Astros have had a lot of opportunities and they failed to cash them in. Dodgers have only had a couple and they've scored each time thanks to Ausmus. So here's DeWitt hitting for Kuroda. Kuroda grounded out in the third inning. Poor Blake DeWitt. You just wonder. The Dodgers announced that Jason Schmidt will pitch Monday night. Who will leave to make room for Schmidt? 1 ball and no strikes. In the dirt. Hiroki Kuroda went 5 innings, 7 hits and 3 runs. Of course, he did go to 5. You know, if the Dodgers pull it out in this inning, he could still pick up a win. Made 92 pitches in this 94-degree heat, and that's ball 3 to DeWitt. So Russ Ortiz gives up the single to Kemp, the long double to Ausmus. Tying run at second for the Dodgers, nobody out. DeWitt for call and Hudson. And a strike. For DeWitt, it's really unfair to talk about his batting average. Better you talk about his mileage. He has a home run, 1 run batted in. 3-1 to Blake. Squirted up along third. Tough play. Just in time to get him. So Jeff Blum makes a good play, and with the ball hit ahead of him, Ausmus had nowhere to go. 1 out, and the batter will be for call. DeWitt just nipped it first. For call has lined out to short and struck out. 0 for 2. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Astros, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Ausmus the tying run at second base with 1 out. Rafael hitting .252, 0 for 2 today. Ball 1. No one throwing in the Astro bullpen. Orlando Hudson on deck. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . That's lifted foul off third and out of play. Brad Ausmus having a big day against his old club. 2 doubles, 2 runs batted in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball speared by Ortiz, goes to first. It looked like he had Ausmus and he opted to go to first instead. Didn't want to monkey with a rundown, but sure looked like he had him. But he takes the out at first. Here's the play. Now look where Ausmus is and look where Tejada is. Tejada easily could have cut him off right there, but he didn't do it, and he went to first. So that could be a huge play because it gives the Dodgers the opportunity to get the tying run home if Hudson should deliver. Orlando is 0 for 2, grounded to first, grounded to short. On deck, Manny Ramirez. Still 3-2 Houston in the 5th. Ball 1. Last night, the Astros let the Dodgers have a little extra. Carlos Lee playing a single into a triple, and then the 1 in a million scene of an angry Mike Hampton trying to slam a ball into his glove, and he missed his glove. That's one for the books. That's a strike. 1-1, and that gave the Dodgers an extra run. One and 1 to Orlando. Fastball hit wide of first, and the first baseman coach left it, so it was up to Ortiz, and he was there to make a good play. So it goes Keppinger to Ortiz, and at the end of 5, Astros 3, Dodgers 2. First, the tag was by Ortiz, and you could see that Hudson grabbed Ortiz with his left hand in the small of the back right there. Well, apparently Orlando did something to that left hand. He's obviously in pain. Remember, it was his left wrist that had the surgery and ruined last year, and the big gamble was, could he manage a year without injury of that left hand? Well, he has done something enough to take him out of the game, and that was far more important than us telling you about this day in Dodger history. Blake DeWitt who batted for Kuroda, will stay in the game and play second base for Hudson. And as soon as we get a report, naturally we'll pass it along to you. Guillermo Mota will now pick up for Kuroda. Mota almost got into last night's game, if you were with us, even if you weren't, with the bases loaded on a walk to Lance Bergman. Jonathan Broxton was a little wobbly, but he had enough left to go head to head with Ivan Rodriguez and strike him out while Mota was throwing in the Dodger bullpen. So as soon as we get a report on Orlando Hudson, you shall have it. And the first pitch, ball one to Chris Coast. Grounded to third, fly to left, 0 for 2. Normally on a close play at first base, on a tag, it's the first baseman who could suffer the injury. It ruined Cliff Floyd. You try to make a tag on a runner going by, and your hand gets caught as the runner goes by, and you suffer all kinds of damage. But with Hudson, it was totally different. It was Hudson who touched the back of Russ Ortiz. Routine fly ball, one away here in the 6th inning. And Ortiz will be coming up.
Pitcher number 23, Russ Ortiz.
Take another look at that play. Watch the left hand right at the number 23, and then something happened. And as soon as he gets by Russ Ortiz, he is obviously in pain, grabbing the left hand, then letting go of it for a moment, grabbing it again. So we'll just have to wait and see. Ortiz a strike. He's 1 for 2. Popped up, single to center. 3-2 Astros with 1 out in the 6th inning. 0-2. Dodgers, as you know, great record in one-run games. Not only 18-9, but at home they are 14-2 in games decided by 1. Fouled away. For the Astros, everything they do is right around 500. And in one-run games, they're 13-12. Cecil Cooper brought a 500 ball club in here. Saw them win 2 in a row, then lose last night. Trying to leave here 2 games above 500 instead of being 500 yet again. Giants won their ball game earlier today, beating Pittsburgh 4-3. Dodgers began the day 7.5 in front of the Giants, but they still have 9 games to play San Francisco before the year is over. They won't see them in July. They'll go to San Francisco in August. They'll go to San Francisco again in September, and the Giants will come here on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of September. So 9 left with the pursuing club. That'll do it for Russ. 2 down. How have the Dodgers done against the Giants? In 9 meetings, they are 5-4. Say, if you're traveling and you can't watch the Dodgers on Prime Ticket, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.TV. The ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week, live on your computer. For more details, visit Dodgers.com. Two down. Here's Michael Bourne. Been on base 3 times, and he has scored once. Reached on an error, doubled and scored, and singled. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 6th inning, Ramirez, Blake, and Ethier. A diving try and catch by Casey Blake. We had to wait for the plate umpire, Casey Moser, to make it official. So Casey rings up another for Casey. Here's the dive and the catch, and Moser running up the and wafted that thing to the pavilion railing, and it carried him into the visiting bullpen, his third home run of the year. So the Astros holding on to a 3-2 lead, and the Dodgers now will have Ramirez, Blake, and Ethier. Ortiz has made 86 pitches as he prepares to go to work here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And a strike. 0-1. Man, he struck out in the 1st inning and walked in the 4th. He is 2 for 13 in the series. 0-2 the count. Man, he's 2 hits. He had a single. He had a double last night. Trying to get something started here in the 6th. Astros got 3 in the 3rd. Dodgers came back with 1. Brad Osmus doubled in Matt Kemp. And then in the 5th inning, the same thing. Osmus doubled in Kemp. And that's it. 3-2 Houston. 0-2 to Manny. For Ortiz, as he works his way to 90 pitches, they're going to really watch him. And the bullpen gets busy. Tim Burdack, a left-hander. Alberto Arias, the right-hander. 1-2. Wow, that thing almost went to the backstop. 2-2. Ortiz last game, the 9th of July, he only made a few pitches in 3 innings and was lifted and was quite angry and popped off about it, about Cecil Cooper taking him out. And this time Manny comes up empty, striking out a 2nd time. So 0 for 2 and 2 for 14 in the 4-game series. Tried to time that slow breaking ball and came up empty. Ortiz now working on Casey Blake. 4 strikeouts for Russ. Blake has struck out and fouled out. Fouled out on a good play by Pudge Rodriguez over near the Astro dugout. Little ground ball to first. Post will take it to the bag. So 2 down in the 6th inning. And that'll bring up Andre Ethier, who lined out to first and singled to right. Tomorrow night, Michael Owings and Joe Torre will send out Jason Schmidt. Jason making his first start in a couple of years tomorrow night against the Reds. We mentioned it when he was pitching here the other night. Roy Oswalt, the pitcher for Houston, his lifetime record against the Cincinnati Reds is 23-1. That's hard to believe, isn't it? That one pitcher could so thoroughly dominate a major league team. Despite the personnel changes, 23-1. But this year, Oswald has faced Cincinnati 3 times, and all 3 turned out to be no decisions. That's his right. 1-1 to Andre with James Loney on deck. 2 out, 6th inning. 3-2 Houston. There's Jason Schmidt. Despite the fact he was a very successful pitcher, 117. I'm sure he'd be fighting butterflies tomorrow night. One ball and 1 strike. That's a strike. Ethier hitting .249. Andre with 18 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Nothing new if we get it, you'll have it. What happened to Orlando Hudson? Obviously, he hurt his left hand or wrist. We're not sure. Hit foul into the stands, bouncing around behind the Dodger dugout. Pitchers really earning their salary today. It was 94 degrees when the game started, not to mention the catchers. Rodriguez and Osmus, one catcher is 38, the other's 40. Wow. And Ethier got that foul ball on his foot, so timeout. Andre not quite ready to get up. Let's see where it got him. Right off the knee. Carlos Lee out there in left field had the same thing happen the other night, so he can empathize. Andre not quite ready to get up yet. Boy, he's really hurting. Take another look. Breaking ball down and in, and it just shot the legs right out from under him. Dodgers losing Orlando Hudson an inning ago. Now they're going to help Ethier on his feet. Juan Pierre has a bat. Ethier putting a little weight on that right leg. Well, Ethier looks like he's going to give it his best shot and stay in there, taking that foul ball off the right knee. Of course, it's not just his hitting. He has to cover a lot of ground out there in right field. We're in the bottom of the 6th with 2 out, and Andres assured Torrey that he is okay, although he's still hurting. 1-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Ethier talking to Pudge Rodriguez. He's taken his share of licks behind the plate and at the plate as well. Okay, 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 out, bases empty. 6th inning, 3-2 Houston. Little foul ball. The Astros will have Keppinger, Tejada, and Lee in the 7th inning. One and 2. Another foul ball. Mercifully for Ethier, it is a foul ball. You'd hate to see him have to run up along first base on a dribbler. And up the middle, base hit, so he can jog to first base. So Andre Ethier is 2 for 3, sore knee or no. 2-out single will bring up James Loney. James Loney has grounded out and hit into a double play. Ethier is still going to walk around a little bit down there to test that knee, and Cecil Cooper is making the walk out to the mound, and we'll see about whether Ortiz is going to stay in or not. Burdack, a left-hander, is down in the pen. Coop talking to Ortiz. We told you last time out they had a severe difference of opinion. Cooper took Ortiz out, and Ortiz blasted his skipper in the press. This time Coop stays with him. So Loney 0 for 2 coming up. Tying run Ethier at first base, and with that sore knee it might take a little to get him around. For Ortiz, the last time he was lifted in that Washington game, he had made only 68 pitches. Right now he has made 101 pitches. Loney 0 for 2 with Kemp on deck. And ball one. Ethier has stolen 4 bases. He's also been caught 3 times. And you just saw him get up out of the dirt with a sore knee. Joe might prefer keeping him at first, which keeps Coast on the bag and opens up the right side of the infield. That's fouled away, out of play, off to the left. 1 ball and 1 strike. Giants won in Pittsburgh. They defeated the Pirates 4-3 to salvage 1 of the 3. Dodgers trying to salvage a split here. Trail by 1. 1-1 to Loney. Little ground ball to the right side to Keppinger, and that'll be that. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 6, Astros 3, Dodgers 2. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Houston leading the Dodgers 3-2 Russ Ortiz has made 104 pitches as he has fought his way through 6 innings. And it looks like they're congratulating him and he's done for the day. We'll see. Meanwhile, Keppinger, Tejada, and Lee trying to get him a run more, at least in the 7th, against Guillermo Mota. Keppinger grounded to short, popped up and fouled out. 0 for 3. Keppinger is 1 for 10 in the series. Strike. 1-1. Astros scored 3 in the 3rd inning. Bourne doubled, Lee singled him home, and Blum hit a 2-run home run. Ausmus doubled in Kemp in the 3rd. Ausmus doubled in Kemp in the 5th. And that's it. 3-2 Astros, and we're now in the 7th. Miguel Tejada, who is 0 for 3 on deck, and Takada with a hitting streak. He has hit safely in 11. 1-2. Just off the plate. Fastball at 92. 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Guillermo Mota, big boy out of the Dominican, so I wouldn't expect the heat to bother him. Chopper to the right side. DeWitt. 1 away. That brings up the point. We are waiting and hoping, because of the importance of it, any news we can get on Orlando Hudson. Hudson hurt his left hand or his left wrist in the 5th inning. We're now in the 7th. Tejada grounded to short, lined out to first, and flied to right. And a strike. Tejada was 4 for 12 coming into today's game. So he's 4 for 15. 1 home run, 1 run batted in. One ball and 1 strike. Three runs, 7 hits for the Astros. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 Dodger error. And ball 2. 2-1 the count. Understandably, the game is being played at a leisurely pace as we're coming up to 3:30. But it was 94 when the first pitch was made. So it's hot. 2-1. Time, no pitch. Mota at 6'6", pitching to Miguel Tejada, who is 5'9", and Mota standing on a 10-inch mound. So things are looking up for Miguel Tejada. And a strike. Boy, Mota sure hit Ausmus' target. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out in the 7th. 3-2 Houston. Trying to make it 3 out of 4 and trying to beat the Dodgers 5 out of 7 this year. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Tejada chasing a bad ball. And down he goes to go 0 for 4. 2 out, and Lee coming up. Say, friends, a reminder, the Junior Dodger broadcast program giving young aspiring broadcasters an opportunity to hone their skills by calling actual games from the press box. Well, it's active today. The program is believed to be the first of its kind in Major League Baseball, and we love it to see it continue every Sunday home game for the remainder of the season. Here's Lee, walk, single, grounded out. Big Carlos 1 for 2. The report on Orlando Hudson is pretty terse. Injured left wrist, day to day. That's all we know. That's when he was going across first base. He put his left hand in the small of the back of Russ Ortiz, and then something happened. So for Joe, hoping not to lose his very valuable second baseman very long. Loney comes over, but no play. Here's that play again in case you weren't with us. Just a routine ground ball. Ortiz is covering. Now that was so fast, but here it is. See the hand? And immediately Hudson reacted in pain. So we can only hope he's day to day and that he's back in there in a day. 1-2 to Carlos Lee. Did that get him? It sure did. So Carlos Lee is hit by the pitch. For Lee, it would be the second time that he's been hit this year. For Guillermo Mota, it would be the third hit batter. So Jeff Blum will be coming up with Big Lee at first, held on by Loney. Blum flied to right, hit a 2-run home run and walked. Hit the home run against Hiroki Kuroda, who went 5 and gave up the 3 runs. And there goes Lee. The pitch is low, the throw on a bounce. Big Carlos Lee kind of surprises people as he motors for a stolen base. He has stolen 3 and he has been caught twice. Although in the past, as big as he is, and he is certainly big, he's 6'2" and 240. He has stolen as many as 18. Last year he had 4. The year before he had 10. The year before that 12. So he can go. And Ausmus now out to talk to Mota. So Carlos Lee steals second with 2 out in the 7th inning. We had given you a note in the last 6 years. Lee, one of 3 big leaguers to record 120 or more home runs, 400 or more RBIs, and 50 or more stolen bases. The other 2, Alex Rodriguez and Vladimir Guerrero. So the steal at second means they take the bat right out of Jeff Blum's hands. They'll walk him intentionally and try and get out of the inning against Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence has popped up, struck out, and outlegged a slow roller to short. The Pence 1 for 3, and in the series 4 for 16 with 2 runs batted in. So the stolen base by Carlos Lee changes everything. And now it'll be right-hander against right-hander with Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Hunter Pence hitting .296, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Oh, and 1 to count. No balls and 1 strike to Hunter. Astros lead 3-2, 7th inning. And another strike. So Mota trying to put him away. Lee at second, Blum at first, 2 out. No balls and 2 strikes to Hunter Pence. Ball 1. Mota's throwing hard. One and 2. Foul back. Second deck fastball alley. 95-mile-an-hour heater. Still 1 and 2. Hiroki Kuroda went 5. Geronimo Mota pitching his second inning in relief and backed up with activity in the Dodger bullpen, among other things. Fastball hit to right field. Ethier is well enough to cruise over, pick it off, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, 2 left at the end of 6.5 innings. 3-2 Houston. Crowd will now stand for the singing of God Bless America and then take me out to the ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, as we honor America with the singing of God Bless America. Today, we welcome back Radio Disney recording artists Savvy and Mandy.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with fire. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time.
He came up in the 3rd inning and doubled home Matt Kemp. He also came up in the 5th inning and doubled home Matt Kemp. And it will be Kemp followed by Osmus and then DeWitt in the bottom of the 7th inning. There will also be a new pitcher. Alberto Arias will be on the mound, facing Kemp, who has walked and singled and scored both Dodger runs. One of them, he stole second, his 20th stolen base of the year. So Kemp, Ausmus, and DeWitt. Strike from Arias. Alberto Arias is from the Dominican. 5'11" and 155 pounds, so they say the most. Great ERA, 1.4. Big breaking ball. That's his #1 pitch. He'll throw an occasional two-seam fastball and a changeup, but he is a curveball pitcher. 2-1 to count to Matt Kemp. 3-2 Astros in the 7th. Giants beat Pittsburgh 4-3. And he misses with a fastball, so he's behind now 3-1 to Matt. Alberto Arias, only 25 years old. He'll be 26 in October. Originally selected by the Rockies and claimed off waivers from the Rockies by the Astros. Line drive down the left field line, base hit. Over to get it is Carlos Lee, and Kemp will hold on with a long single. So Matt bidding for a perfect day with a walk and 2 singles, and now the Dodgers have him aboard representing the tying run. Brad Ausmus double to right center, double to left center. So the former Astro, who was such a popular member of the Houston squad for so many years, trying to add to their discomfort here in the 7th inning. Brad hitting .310, 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. Now the interesting part of this, of course, is selection. You're basically looking at a curveball pitcher, but you have a base stealer at first. Does that mean Ausmus gets more fastballs? He just got one. Bunts to Arias, who is a little slow in looking at second, and then he had to wait for Keppinger to get to the bag. So Kemp is sacrificed to second by Ausmus. And Blake DeWitt will be coming up. There's that look, and then he had to wait and then threw it low. Nice play by Keppinger at the other end. So the tying run is at second base with 1 out and a meeting at the mound. Ausmus, as always, doing his job. Blake DeWitt came in as a pinch hitter for Kuroda and grounded to third. Little did he know that in that inning, Orlando Hudson was going to hurt his left wrist. So DeWitt stayed in the game, bats 9th and plays second base. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Kemp is the tying run at second. 1 out in the 7th, 3-2 Astros. Wrinkles outside, ball 1. DeWitt with a home run, 1 run batted in. Fastball slowly hit wide of first. The feed, he dropped it. Everybody's safe. So Kemp advances to third. Arias commits a big error. The Dodgers get another big break. Routine ground ball, and then Arias is there, takes the throw, and then look down for the base and drop the ball, and we will draw an error. So 1 out, runners at first and third. And the batter is Furcal. Line to short, struck out, hit back to the box. Kemp down the line from third, DeWitt away from first. Fastball, strike. So Matt, the tying run 90 feet away. DeWitt over at first. Big foul ball, 0-2. Mark Loretta is out on deck to bat for Mota. And then after Loretta, you would have Manny Ramirez. So a big error by Alberto Arias, and the Dodgers trying to take advantage of it. 0-2 the count. One and two. Arias first came up to the big leagues 2 years ago, briefly with the Rockies. Came up again last year briefly. Moved over to the Astros. Now they're calling on him quite a bit. Foul ball, still 1-2 to Furcal. Astros scored 3 in the third. Dodgers came back with a run in the third and a run in the fifth to get close. Now they have a look at a shot of tying it up, especially because of the error by Arias. One and two. Breaking ball low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. From the beginning of spring training, I mean first day, they have pitchers covering first base, handling throws. All year long they're called to make that play, and every now and then up jumps the devil. 2-2. Fastball, little dribbler. Here comes Kemp to the plate, and it's going to be butchered by Arias. Everybody's safe. So consecutive errors by Alberto Arias gives the Dodgers a 3-3 tie. He had 2 plays. He looked at the plate and then just dropped the ball. That's his second drop in the inning. Right there. So at 25, Cecil Cooper out to try and calm him down a little bit. Dodgers very fortunate here in the inning. Kemp single, Ausmus sacrifice. DeWitt's ground ball was dropped at first by Arias. Now Furcal's comebacker is dropped by Arias. And rather interesting that 2 errors in his career before the 2 errors here in the inning. And now Mark Loretta will be batting for Mota. Dodgers have gotten a lot of defensive breaks with the Astros in the series. Loretta hitting .243, strike. You had Carlos Lee playing a single into a triple. You had Hunter Pence losing a routine fly ball for a triple. 0-1. Fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. DeWitt at second, Furcal at first. Still only 1 out. Dodgers given 5 outs in the inning. And that's hit to right field. Pence comes over and makes the catch, and the runners hold. So Loretta fly ball to right, 2 down, but it gives the Dodgers one more at bat for Manny Ramirez. Manny is 0 for 2 and 2 for 14 in the series. He has a single, a double, and a walk in the 4 games. Up there now in a huge at bat. 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And even though third base is open, they've decided to put him on and take their chances against Casey Blake. So it's the old story. If first base is open and you would put him on, third base is open, so why not put him on? Arias from the Dominican, and of course Manny's a legend over there. There's ball 3. So in a moment, Casey Blake will be coming up with the bases loaded. Here's ball 4. Blake has 4 grand slams in his career. The last one that he hit 3 years ago in Kansas City. So the Dodgers given 2 huge breaks on the errors by Alberto Arias. Here's Blake, struck out, fouled out, grounded out, 0 for 3. Three in the 7th. Curveball, ball 1. DeWitt at third, for Call at second, Ramirez at first. One and 0. 2 out. That's a strike. Casey with 12 home runs, 55 RBIs. DeWitt, for Call, and Ramirez all out on the lines. 3-3 in the 7th. Fastball, a one-hopper down to Keppinger. He's on the bag, and that's it. So the Dodgers, despite having a base hit, a couple of walks, and 2 errors by Arias, get 1, and at the end of 7, 3-3. And then later, On the ball hit by Furcal, he's got to play at the plate only to lose the ball for a second error. Scoring, Matt Kemp. So the Dodgers are all tied 3-3. As Arias keeps thinking about his own miscues causing so much trouble, the Dodgers make two changes. They bring in Ramon Troncoso and Juan Castro. So Castro will take over at second base, bat ninth, and Troncoso will go into Hudson's spot in the number 2 slot. That's a strike. 0-1. Pudge Rodriguez. Rodriguez doubled, grounded out, and lined out. Hit the ball hard at Casey Blake in the 5th inning. 0-1. 0-2. Troncoso has been brilliant of late. 15 consecutive scoreless innings without allowing anything. That's over the last 13 games. In the dirt, 1-2. He has done his better pitching on the road. Earned run average of 3.2 at Dodger Stadium, but on the road 0.3. 1 run in 30 innings. Still 1-2 to Rodriguez. Pudge hitting .256. 8 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Rodriguez a big 4 for 5 the other night. Five for 8. And down he goes. So Rodriguez strikes out, opening up matters in the 8th inning. 1 away, and Chris Coast coming up. Last night, you might have seen Rodriguez strike out on a high fastball from Broxton. Troncoso, his fastball has very good sink to it. Coast is 0 for 3. Grounded out, couple of fly balls to left. Jason Michaels, an outfielder, comes out on deck. The Astros without their power plant, Lance Berkman, who is out with a bad leg. 18 home runs, and all Lance can do is sit in the dugout and watch. He did appear as a pinch hitter last night against Broxton in the 9th inning and got a walk. So he's thoroughly frustrated. 18 home runs, 55 RBIs, and just sitting on the outside looking in. 2-1 the count to Chris Coast. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th, they'll have Ethier, Loney, and Kemp. Coast formerly with the Phillies. And pop fly back of first down the line. Loney backtracking to make the catch in fair ground. 2 down in the 8th inning. Arias will not be coming up. We can give you the paid attendance today. 40,340. 40,340. So Jason Michaels with 2 out in the 8th inning, batting for Arias. Michaels started in last night's game and went 1 for 3. He appeared as a runner in another game. And a strike. 0-1. Jason, originally selected by the Phillies and played with the Phils for over 4 years. then briefly with the Indians and the Pirates and now the Astros. Went to school at the University of Miami. 33 years old. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. Michaels in the series 1 for 4 with a run batted in. So 2 out, 8th inning in a 3-3 tie. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 big errors for the Astros. 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. One and two. 2-2. Difference between the two teams, the Dodgers haven't rallied often, but when they do, they pick up a run. The Astros the other way around. They have squandered so many opportunities. They were 2 for 11, and they were struggling in that area all game long. Fly ball to center. Kemp going back. So a long fly ball by Jason Michaels. Down go the Astros, and at the end of 7 1/2, a 3-3 tie. Out of the bullpen. Second time that we've seen LaTroy in the series. A big fella, 6'5", 215, has had some back spasms of late. However, he was well enough to come in and pitch well enough the other night. Hawkins worked the 8th inning of game 1. Gave up a base hit to Ramirez, got Blake to hit into a double play, and got Kemp on a comebacker. So LaTroy out of Gary, Indiana, 36 years old. He'll be 37 a couple of days before Christmas. Originally drafted by the Twins way back in 1991. We mentioned too, teammates call him Satch, so much that for a while he had a big photo of the late great Satchel Paige in his clubhouse, and he related to it as he said, yeah, he's tall, he's black, he's skinny, and he has big feet just like me. Well, the Hawk ready to work now to Andre Ethier. Ball 1. Ethier lined to first, single to right, and then in the 6th inning fouled the ball off his right knee. It took him quite a while to pull himself together, and then got up out of the dirt and singled to center. Hitting .251. Ball 2. Hawkins is 1-3, ERA 2.3, and his strikeout to walk ratio not quite, but almost 3-1. 2-0. And a hopper into right field, so Andre Ethier comes up with his third consecutive hit. Dodgers have a tiebreaker at first and nobody out. James Loney has grounded out, hit in good double play, and grounded out again. So James is 0 for 3. Loney in the series is 1 for 9. Friday night he had a 12-game hitting streak snapped. James hitting .276. He has 7 home runs, 54 runs batted in. And Jonathan Broxton getting ready for the 9th inning. Ball 1. 3 runs and 7 hits for each side. 2 disastrous errors for Houston. Dodgers are getting into the habit of getting their leadoff man aboard. They've had 5 leadoff man reach. 3 of them have scored. And the leadoff man who reached and the leadoff man who scored each time, Matt Kemp. One ball and no strikes. Ball 2. Hawkins, as you can imagine, at 6'5", played a lot of basketball and was very talented in high school, but it was his grandfather who said to him, stick to baseball, and it has certainly paid off. Two and 0. And the strike, 2-1. Matt Kemp, who's been so very busy, on deck. 2 singles, a walk, a stolen base, 3 runs scored. 2-1 to Loney. Fouled away. Astros led 3-0 in the 3rd inning. Dodgers got 1. Dodgers came back with a run in the 5th to get close 3-2. Dodgers came up with a very charitable run because of the errors by Arias to tie it up 3-3. Two balls, 2 strikes with Ethier at first, nobody out. Ground ball to short. Tejada, the shovel. Keppinger turns it, and they get the double play. 6-4-3 double play. 2 down in the 8th inning. And the batter will be Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp walked, stole second. Ausmus doubled him home. Singled, scored on a double by Ausmus. And then in the 7th inning, singled, was sacrificed, and the back-to-back errors by Arias cashed him in. Ball 1. Kemp hitting .319. $11 home runs, 52 runs batted in. One and 1. When the Astros come up in the 9th inning, against Jonathan Broxton. They will have Michael Bourne, Jeff Keppinger, and Miguel Tejada. If anybody gets on Carlos Lee. In the dugout, among others, would be Lance Berkman, but I don't believe he'd be used except in a non-running spot. 1-1. Two and one. At one stage a few years ago, Hawkins had a stretch in relief. He had 16 saves without a blown opportunity. That's lifted foul off first, down the line, back into the crowd. Two out, bases empty. 2-2 the count to Matt Kemp in the 8th inning in a 3-3 tie. Breaking ball hit foul, big overhand curve. So Kemp's still there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, LaTroy Hawkins was with the Yankees. He was suspended for throwing near the head of Orioles outfielder Luke Scott after Derek Jeter had been hit by a pitch. 2-2. Fastball. You get a lot from Hawkins. Fastball, curveball, split finger, and a change. And a couple of years ago, he began to throw cutters to left-hand batters. Two and two. And with all those pitches in his arsenal, when he went to the Rockies, Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach of the Rockies, had him add a slider. So he's got a shelf full of pitches. 3-2 the count to Matt Kemp. And a drive to left, and what a day for Matt Kemp. That one's out of here. Matt Kemp hits his 12th home run of the year. He winds up today with a walk, 2 singles, a stolen base, and a home run. For LaTroy Hawkins, that would be the 5th home run that he's allowed. And it was a very patient at-bat by Matt Kemp. That was an 8-pitch at-bat that led to the home run. And the batter now is Brad Ausmus, who has a couple of doubles and 2 runs batted in. But for Matt Kemp, a magnificent day. His last home run was a grand slam in Milwaukee. Now hugs from Casey Blake to give the Dodgers a 4-3 lead. There was no doubt as soon as he made contact, you know it was out. So Matt Kemp, 12 home runs, 53 runs batted in. 0-1 to Ausmus. Fouled away. Take a look at it again. The pitch looked like a breaking ball. It just seemed to drop, and he was all over it. The big Matt hits it out, and the Dodgers for the first time today have a lead as he sits alongside Russell Martin. 4-3. For the Dodgers, that home run, they've now hit 77. Kemp does it all. I'm sure getting a needle in the dugout. Two and two. Boy, Matt, when you think about it, brings so much to the dance. Hitting about .320, 12 home runs, 53 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 20 out of 24, and then covering center field like a blanket. And he's really just starting. Fouled away. Matt Kemp is still only 24. I mean, you think he's been around a while, but he's 24 years old. He'd be 25 in the end of September. Remarkable young player. Out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Osmus making life miserable for his old club. Doubled in Kemp in the third, doubled in Kemp in the fifth, sacrificed Kemp in the seventh. Four runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Astros, with Bourne, Keppinger, and Tejada in the ninth. Bouncer speared by Hawkins, throws him out, but single by Ethier. Loney hits into a double play, and Matt Kemp hits one out. And we head to the ninth, 4-3 Dodgers. Dodgers leading for the first time today. And now Michael Bourne, Jeff Keppinger, and Miguel Tejada in that order against Jonathan Broxton. Big John last night pitched the ninth inning, but it wasn't easy. He walked Tejada and gave up a single to Lee, struck out Hunter Penn, struck out Coast, walked Bergman to load the bases, and struck out Ivan Rodriguez. The Big John facing Michael Bourne. Giants won. Dodgers trying to keep their lead at 7.5. The Rockies defeated the Padres 6-1. Jason Marquise, the winner, is now a 12-game winner. So here's Bourne, reached on an error, double, single, and fouled out to Casey Blake. and a strike. Bourne hitting .287, 3 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Little foul ball, 0-2 the count. When Broxton gets 2 strikes, you immediately look it up. He has 68 strikeouts and 19 walks. A little better than 3-1. Not quite 4-1. 0-2. Off the plate. Crowd groans. Of course, they want every pitch to be a strike. 1-2 the count. It's been Kuroda, Mota, Troncoso, and Broxton. Ortiz, Arias, and Hawkins. Got him. So Bourne strikes out, and it's been a tough series for Cecil Cooper after winning the first 2 games. Bad night last night where it seemed like the world was against him. Cooper kicked out of the game for arguing with the then first base umpire Casey Moser. Then he saw his club 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Then he saw Arias commit 2 errors to give the Dodgers the tying run, and then Hawkins giving up the home run to Kemp. Keppinger 0 for 4. Grounded out, popped up, fouled out, and grounded out. On deck, Miguel Tejada. And for Keppinger, who has played second and third, just 1 for 11 in the series. 0-1. Another strike. Broxton with 21 saves. That makes him 5th in the league. 21 for 23 in saves. And that's hit foul down the line, out of play. The opposition against Broxton, and this is before today, the opposition was hitting 152. And when John comes in the game, the Dodger record is 38-1. Here at Dodger Stadium, he's 10 for 10 in save opportunities. In fact, he's only allowed 1 run at Dodger Stadium this year. Fouled away. Astros led 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. Dodgers tied at 3-3. Kemp's home run gives them a 4-3 lead. What a day for Matt Kemp. A walk, a stolen base, 2 singles. He had scored 3 times and then homers to break the tie. Oh, 0-2 to Keppinger. Tomorrow night, the Cincinnati Reds will be here, and Jason Schmidt will make his comeback appearance as he sits quietly alongside Chad Billingsley in the Dodger dugout. He'll be in the spotlight tomorrow night. Wednesday night is Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. Wednesday's game is sold out, so we don't want you to be inconvenienced and come out here without a ticket. 1-2 to Keppinger. Well, all Broxton has done is strike out 5 in an inning and 2/3. And the batter is Miguel Tejada. The breaking ball takes care of Keppinger. Tejada last night walked against Broxton. So Big John now has 70 strikeouts and 19 walks. And that slapped over Loney's head, but foul. 0-1 to Miguel Tejada. Tejada grounded to short, lined out to first, flied to right, and struck out. Four for 16 in the series, and an 11-game hitting streak on the line. 0-1. And that's popped up. It'll be Juan Castro. So it is Matt Kemp Day and Jonathan Broxton the closing act. And in between, the Dodgers beat the Astros 4-3. The Dodgers split the 4-game series. The Dodgers winning back-to-back games now prepare for the Cincinnati Reds, and the Mercedes attention assist of the game would certainly go to Matt Kemp. A no doubt about it home run in the bottom of the 8th inning to give the Dodgers the win. 4-3 Dodgers. They remain 7.5 in front of the Giants, and we'll be back.